Hi, I'm Johnny. This is Johnny Lakes, and today I'm doing a list video. I'm talking about a few of my guilty pleasures. These are all movies that I fully acknowledge are not good, and I can't in good conscience recommend them to anybody. Nevertheless, I still get a kick out of them. And maybe you will too. Without further ado, here's the list in no particular order. Showgirls stars Elizabeth Berkley as Nomi, a small-town girl who hitchhikes her way into Las Vegas, trying to realize her dreams of fame and stardom. The big city's not all it's cracked up to be though, and she soon finds herself doing things that she never thought she would have to do. This movie's so gloriously sleazy, I can't even show proper clips of the scenes that I really like, and it's hard to believe that this movie was ever made, yet alone released into mainstream movie theaters. I love how everything about the movie is so over the top that you can't help but wonder if they were serious when they made it, or if it's some sort of high-minded, very expensive practical joke. Over the years, it has developed a cult following though, and has even spawned a documentary and a sequel. In my mind, Showgirls is the epitome of the so bad it's good movie. It's trashy, but is it art? I'll let you decide that one. A lighthouse keeper rescues the Queen of Atlantis from a storm, and of course he immediately knocks her up. She gives birth, and then ditches the lighthouse guy and her infant son, heading back into the ocean vowing to return when it's safe. The kid grows up to be Aquaman, a metahuman who can talk to sea creatures, breathe underwater, and swim real good. Aquaman gets involved in all sorts of underwater politics concerning who will rule the ocean, and there's also a B-plot involving a pirate's son who is out for revenge against Aquaman for the death of his father. I'm not sure why I like this movie as much as I do. Maybe it's because, unlike the MCU, there's actual color in the movie. Maybe it's because I had the lowest of expectations for it, and it exceeded them with ease. My favorite scene in the film is when we see the octopus drummers and they're playing the simplest beat in the whole world. And that makes me laugh every time. On the positive side, the action scenes are undeniably inventive and exciting. Jason Momoa seems to not take himself too seriously, and the film is also beautiful to look at, even if it is ultimately a little bit shallow. After the events in Transformers 3, all the Autobots are being hunted down by a CIA Black Ops division. Optimus Prime is injured, on the run, and finds himself hiding out in Mark Wahlberg's farmhouse. After that, there's some sort of story involving the US government turning Transformers into military drones, and the Dinobots are there at some point. I honestly don't really know or care what the rest of the plot is. I've seen this movie like 5 times and still have to look up the plot on Wikipedia. And by this point in the franchise, I had well given up on them making an actual good Transformers movie. That's why I was so surprised when I didn't hate this movie. And I know Mark Wahlberg's a controversial actor in many people's eyes, and most people don't really care for him, but I've always kind of liked him. I liked how Michael Bay just decided to introduce a whole new main character while just glossing over Shia LaBeouf's absence. The absurdly blatant product placement makes me laugh, and I find it interesting that they kill off the most likable and funniest character in the film, played by TJ Miller, like 40 minutes into the movie. I also liked the bizarre and very specific inclusion of the boyfriend explaining how his relationship with Wahlberg's daughter technically isn't a felony. My favorite thing about the movie, though, is how it only requires about 20% of one's brain power and attention for the entirety of the runtime. If you like the other Transformers movies, you should know exactly what you're getting into with this one. Scientists have discovered a new kind of neutrino that's heating up the Earth's core, and it's going to result in a global cataclysm. Meanwhile, governments of the Earth are secretly building giant arks where a small portion of the population, mostly billionaires, will be kept safe. John Cusack and his kids have to try to survive the world literally falling apart around them and make it to one of the arks. When I first saw this movie, I had pretty low expectations going into it. All I really wanted was a disaster movie, full of buildings falling down and things blowing up. And it delivered on that front. If you go into this one knowing that's all it is, you might have a great time. It's got all of the Roland Emmerich movie beats. The conspiracy guy who turns out to be right. The scientist who knows before anyone else what's going on and no one will listen to. The bull-headed military. And the family man on the outs with his wife. If you've seen Independence Day and The Day After Tomorrow, and want some more disaster porn, give this one a shot. John Cusack and Woody Harrelson deliver excellent performances for what they are, and the special effects are wonderful. And really, what more can you ask for in an end-of-the-world movie? Howard is an anthropomorphized duck, just minding his own business on Duck World, reading Playduck in his armchair when he gets inexplicably pulled out of his apartment and launched into space. Somehow doesn't die, and eventually lands on Earth in a mysterious place known as Cleveland. A local woman named Beverly takes him in, and it's up to Howard to figure out a way to get back home. I just love how offbeat this movie is. It has no idea what to do with itself. Is it for kids? Not really. There's some pretty overt sexual stuff. Is it for adults? Not really. The jokes are all corny duck puns that don't especially make sense. Is Howard a superhero? Not really. He has no superpowers. Is it an action movie? Not really, but Howard does know Quack Fu, which is remarkably similar to karate. So who was this made for? I'm not really sure, but I can say that for some reason, I enjoy it. Mike Myers plays Guru Pitka, the number 2 guru in the world. He's an American orphan raised in India by Guru Tuggan Maputa, and he's hired by Jessica Alba, the owner of the Toronto Maple Leafs, to help their star player Darren Roanoke get over the loss of his wife to a rival player named Jacques Lecoq Grand. This is the only movie on the list that I have any sort of actual guilt in liking, due to Mike Myers playing a racist Indian stereotype. But to be fair, no one seemed to mind when he was a Scottish stereotype in Shrek. I can't help liking it though. The constant barrage of stupid wordplay from Myers just wins me over every time. And Justin Timberlake is a natural movie star, and I really wish his movies would do better, as I've liked him in everything of his I've seen. Jessica Alba is effortlessly charming as always, and the movie is relentlessly lighthearted and goofy, and the puns are a mile a minute. I realize I'm pretty much the only one who feels this way, but I honestly, unironically enjoy this movie. So I hope you enjoyed my silly little list. Let me know your guilty pleasures in the comments. And if you feel so inclined, you can like and subscribe. It's quick, free, and relatively painless. Thanks for watching me talk about movies for a few minutes, and you can tune in next time to see what else Johnny likes.